I got a quick tech video for you today. Someone posted on Reddit, they were asking about compression, and I was like, oh, I'll just link a video of someone testing compression on an airsoft gun, but there was nothing good. So I figured, you know what, I'll have to make my own video. So what I got here is a Cyma 02C version 3 gearbox out of some junky gun. Nasty ass grease and everything. But I've removed all the garbage that is just going to get in the way. Remove the trigger assemblage and the trigger itself and all the gears and all the fun stuff. So I just left the tappet plate nozzle, the spring for the tappet plate, cylinder, piston, all that other garbage in there. So, testing your compression on your AEG, this makes it much simpler. I think I'll have to do it kind of this way to actually have it show up good on the screen. Just put your thumb, if your thumb is a little greasy, all the better, because it'll make a better seal. And just kind of push it up in there, and you can feel the resistance. No resistance, some resistance. So, no resistance isn't terrible. I mean, there's some guns like the Kidways that work fine with like no resistance. I think it's because it's just the weight of the piston head kind of. It's like an air brake. It kind of spreads out the O-ring, and you probably physically can't move the piston as fast as the power from the mainspring could. You know, this is going to move that piston much quicker than any human could. So I think that's how the air brake sort of pistons work. So they spread out the O-ring, so it makes a nice seal. But in general, you can usually feel it. Sometimes the head will get a little cockeyed when you're trying to do it, so just make sure everything's, square to itself. And you'll notice this doesn't have an O-ring nozzle, but it still has decent compression. I mean, if you're maximizing, your compression, that's a lot of things to check for. Is O-ring nozzle, and make sure you're not getting any leaks around this, the cylinder head to cylinder interface. Make sure your nozzle, your piston head O-ring is nicely lubed. You can see this one's ported as well, and that helps when that's going forward on that spring. That's just going so fast that the air is actually pushing the O-ring out to make a better seal. So you're just pretty much helping it along if it's nice and tight in there. So just figured I'd do a quick show of that. Oh, and see, I kind of pushed it out of the way. It's kind of not in the slot anymore. I kind of messed it up. But that's how there we go. So when you're doing this, make sure you're kind of got the right angle on it and it's not popped out of the way, because it can mess it up and you'll have no compression, because if this is cockeyed, it's not going to work correctly. Because I've seen some people who just kind of they don't even like factor in the tappet plate. They take all that stuff off and they just do this, and that isn't how it is when it's in your gearbox, because this head can get cocked just like that, and then we have completely shit compression. Oh, it's like, oh, we got no compression. I mean, that's exaggerating, obviously, and also this one, like, ooh, look at that, sliding around. So you kind of need to do it inside a gearbox, preferably tappet plate in place with the nozzle. And I think we can show one more thing to make this video actually. It's still going to be short, but it also needs to be greasy. Come on, get back in there. Oh my god, this is like nasty Chinese grease. So, come on, fit on there. There we go. Alright. One last thing you can test. So, when we know we got good compression, let's just get this all lined up again. Holy shit, it's popping out. Come on, stay in there. It's your home. Stay. Bump down. There we go. Alright, so what we're going to do, here is the barrel and hop-up assembly out of said gun. The nozzle is forward. What we can do is we can stick this in here and blow into it. Kind of listen for air leaks. Normally you do this with the barrel in the gun, you know. Of course, you know, no BBs and battery in it and all that other stuff. And you got to make sure the nozzle's forward. If the nozzle's back, it's of no matter because it would just blow all out the feed tube anyway. But you can also test that way for how good the nozzle to bucking seal is. A little bit of air hissing through there, but then again, this is a wicked cheap gun, so you know it's to be expected. But I think we could probably blow the piston out of this thing. Yeah, there we go. But like I said, do that when it's in the gun. That way, all the gearbox and the hop will be aligned to how it is in the gun. Doing it outside can maybe kind of help you a little bit, but you know, this stuff kind of needs to be in the gun for it for that test to be valid. You know, the whole gun together. You just blow down the barrel. This guy, the barrel's almost at the end there. This thing, can I get that on there? Yeah. So you can see the barrel's almost at the end there. You can put a rubber tube or a straw or whatever to kind of assist you in blowing down that. Just to check your seal, you know, your bucking to nozzle seal and what else. And if this, you know, the gearbox is all together, all the better because you won't be blowing the piston back. But let's see. O-rings, sometimes they're just too damn small, even from the factory. And these are, here in the United States, these are number 14 plumbing O-rings. So you can get those at any hardware store, Home Depot, whatever. I think was this one that was like too small? Yeah, just to kind of show, it just doesn't even like show up in there. I think this was the one. But, you know, oh, it started to build up compression because I'm going quick enough for the ear brake effect to work on the piston head. But normally, if the O-ring is too worn out or too small, it normally won't make an effective seal. I have seen issues where you're not going to see it with this guy, but you'll see it with a ported cylinder, where the O-ring is slightly too big, and it gets nicked on that, the ports, and then you have like shit compression. What else? The rack's usually fine for like any sort of lube, like this is nylon and metal right here, so that's what this heavy silicone axle grease lube is. Actually, that's probably axle grease lube. You know, is fine. You could use lithium grease on there. You could use lithium moly grease on there, super lube, whatever. It's not going to hurt it. The O-ring, you want to use something that's pure silicone. I use Tect just because I got it. You know, I got a bunch of it, but you could use any sort of thick silicone grease on the O-ring, just so it slides in there nice. You know, and also a little bit on the nozzle to cylinder nozzle interface helps as well for, especially if you have an O-ring in there, to keep those nice and fresh. So I think that is going to be the gist of this video, because it's just sort of like, hey, quick video on AEG compression testing, and you do the same with a version 2 or pretty much any gun. You know, just have tappet plate, nozzle, cylinder, piston, all that other fun jazz hooked up, and just, you know, crank away on it. But make sure it's squared up, because if it's not, your results will be invalid.